Ho ho, hey guys, it's Jax. I want to show you something today that I hope for some of you trucking folk and maybe some of you weekend warrioring automotive people, maybe this will be something useful to you. And if you're just an everyday Joe or an everyday Jane that's tuning in, you'll kind of like this because transformations are always fun. It's always fun to see something transform on video, right? Whether it's like a car wash, to see something go from blah to yeah. Or what's that? There's a channel on YouTube right now. I don't know. I can't think of the channel, but there's a guy that goes around and cleans up yards. Like millions of views for just going around and mowing yards, turning something from woo to yay. I want to show you that today. So there's something for everyone. There's something for truckers. There's something for weekend mechanicers. And there's something for the rest of you to watch just to get to see this transformation, okay? I'm going to... we're going to be working on polishing this wheel behind me. Now, metal polishing can be tricky sometimes, and it can be very disheartening because you can get on YouTube. There's a couple guys on YouTube that polish. Well, there's probably more than a couple now. But there's some old time original type YouTube guys that polish aluminum on YouTube, and they're great. They have these full-time businesses. They polish all day, every day. They live it, they breathe it, they sleep it, they think it, all the stuff. And they're really good. And they put out great informative videos. And thanks to those guys, I learned how to polish metal, okay? I'm not like an experienced super wizard, but I picked it up really fast and I got a knack for it. And so I do it, and I feel like I do it well. Well enough that I've done a handful of trucks for other people before. Now I'm way too busy to do that. There was a time where I was like, I want to polish metal full time. I just got too busy with the truck side of things and I can't. But I still would like to be able to polish some of my own stuff from time to time, right? So here we have a good example of this tire. There's this wheel down here I want to show you. But before I get to that, the last thing I want to explain to you is a lot of you out there, you've done this. You've watched the videos on YouTube and you're like, oh, I'm going to do that. So you order some buffing compound, you order a couple different grits of sandpaper, you get the buffing wheel, and you do it, you sand it, you do it just like you watched them do on the YouTube, and it comes out and your wheel's like hazy and black, and it's frustrating. And I know that a lot of people get to that point and they're just like, you know what, forget this. But I want to just explain to you in simple, regular trucker Joe, that's me, just like regular guy, that you can actually do more than just hand polish if you like. And there's just a couple little tips, a couple little weak spots that get brushed over that cause your polish to not turn out the way you want. So without further ado, I've got my sandpaper. I'll explain a little bit as we go. We're going to make this thing go from turd to word. Okay, this, as you may have surmised, this wheel goes on this lift axle that goes up and down. I only use it about half the time, but this tire's getting some uneven wear. Still got decent tread. I'm gonna take it off, save it for a trailer, and put it on a trailer. Ooh. Well, it's not polished yet, so I'm not worried about it. Normally, I've got a rug over there I like to put down under these when they're nice wheels. This wheel currently is not nice, so I'm not worried about it. But once it's nice, we'll be using the old rug. Learned this trick from a YouTuber years ago. Just an old gallon jug with a hole cut in the top makes a nice tire juice applicator. Oh yeah. Now look, I understand also, a lot of you people out there, some of you tire guys, you're gonna say, man, you're a sellout. using the old tire flipper. But rest assured, you guys, I have to censor that. I put in my time, you gotta understand. I put in my time with the spades, trust me. I've changed a lot of tires with the old spades, and they're very trusty, and they're great. But a couple years ago, old Rooster got me this little tool, and it works awesome. Ah, there we got it. You guys know what I'm talking about if you've done these before. Just like that. Off with the old. Hey, I'm out of shape. So here's what's going on. Another little background tidbit. This truck used to have it's a 2015 truck. It had a 2015 motor, a DD15 Detroit in it. And we put all the miles on it, wore it out, and instead of replacing it or overhauling it, took the DD15 out and replaced it with an old school Series 60 Detroit. And as part of that, I ended up not having a use for the old exhaust system anymore. So I had to kind of custom create an exhaust system. This truck previously had an exhaust that came out on the ground. And so I kept it in that same vein instead of making a big stack that goes up there. And anyway, here's what I did. See that, baby? Yep, it just comes around and out, okay? So I got my own, they call that a weed burner. Whomp, shoots out the side. And it doesn't get too much smoke on stuff, except for it's getting some on this aluminum wheel. Check it out. See that? See how she's getting some smoke residue on that old baby? It tends to get the most smoke on it when for whatever reason, when the axle is when it's up. It's when it seems to gather the most smoke. This is an unpolished, it's a couple years old, this wheel. So what I'm gonna do today, we're gonna go through the steps, we're gonna sand it down, we're gonna polish it, and then the last step I'm gonna do, which I've had good luck with so far, I'm gonna use that shark hide metal protectant, and I'm gonna put like 4 coats. These lift axle tires get the most abuse of any wheel. These lift axle wheels get the most abuse of anyone on the entire rig, because they stick out just a little bit when you're going down the road, and they get rocks and things and dings, and they need a little extra help. Let me show you this other thing so far. So this wheel right here, you guys, this is coming off. I'm kind of redesigning this, but this wheel is a new wheel. Okay, I bought it last November, and when it was fresh and beautiful and clean, first thing I did when I brought it home was I put like 4 layers of shark hide on it. So it's been shark hided through the entire winter. When all the winter roads, all the chloride and all that jazz, and this is just a no-touch wash, and that's how it looks. So there's 2 ways you can make a wheel. You can make them show shine, like boom, or if you just want it to look clean and nice and relatively shiny, you can use the shark hide. And so far, I've had good luck with it. I like the product so far. I'm kind of experimenting with it to see how long it lasts. But things like these fenders, they're a great candidate for getting polished and then shark hided, because I'll just be honest with you, I don't have time. I've got several trucks and I just don't have time. If I just had one and I was just driving one truck all the time and I was gone and then I was home and gone, I would probably not be so worried about shark hide because I have time to get around and polish it, once a year or so. But I just don't have the time. So what I found is the shark hide is good for folks that want just a good, solid, clean, nice look. Don't necessarily need the mirror shine where you can see your face in the wheel, although that's really cool. And I found that the shark hide seems to be doing that. And like I say, that's been through the winter time and it looks great. So first thing first, I got my sander. And if I'm doing a wheel that's not just totally destroyed, this one looks totally destroyed because of the black from the smoke, that's on it. But it's actually not horrible. It's only a couple years old. Some of those wheels that have been going down the highway for like 10 years, they're just hammered and they got pits. Or for example, like the bumper on the front of this truck, it would take some serious sanding But you guys, here's the first thing I want you to know. If you're just kind of one of these guys that wants to polish here and there, the biggest mistake made by everybody is in these beginning steps. Your final polish when you're using the wheel will only be as good as your sanding and your preparatory work. Does this sound familiar? Like anything, like automotive painting, any kind of painting, painting your homes, painting your walls, you know, rebuilding an engine. It's all in the prep work, you know, cleaning parts, putting things, getting things properly prepared. That is the whole key to these things, okay? So, where's my sand? Oh, I gotta go get my sandpaper. But I'm gonna start out with, let's see, what am I gonna start with? I think I'm starting with actually a 400 grit sandpaper on this because it's not bad. If it was real bad, 180 is what I would use. But I'm gonna do a 400, which is pretty fine sandpaper. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do 600. And then we're gonna go ahead and use this, this brown bar that the mice have been eating through the wintertime. Wonder if it polished their bellies. Anyway, this brown bar is kind of it's like a one, it's this is Menzerna's, the people that make this, but this is kind of more of a one-step thing, because like I say, I don't need it to be like this perfect mirror shine. I don't have time to do all that. I do have time to make a video for you. So I probably do have time to make a mirror shine if I wasn't shooting this video, but because I'm shooting a video for you guys and for me, we're just gonna do a one-step shine, and then we're gonna shark hide it. Anyway, I've talked about all that. I'm gonna get my sandpaper. You can watch this process go down. I bet I look wild. That's okay. Okay, so that was it. I made one mistake when I was describing. I ended up using 320 grit and 600 grit. Okay, 320 will take down most of the surface grime, blemishes. You know, light, more like the stuff that comes from just road corrosion, grime. It won't take out like pitting, but it'll take out, you know, grime pretty well. In fact, let me show you here. See this? This is around where your lug nuts are, and there's some indent and pitting there. I think that'll polish over. But the key, you guys, when you sand, see how you can kind of see that there's like waves here. That's okay. If you can actually see scratches, scratches might not polish out. See, like here, there's a little bit, you can see a little bit of a scratch. It's not quite smooth. Right at the very end of that 600 grit, I adjusted the sandpaper to get some fresh grit. And anyway, it left a little thing. That was where that Alcoa sticker was at. I was scraping off the logo. But do you guys like my face mask? Darth Vader. Anyway, this is pure, like if you felt this, this is the most silky, smooth, soft feel that you can imagine. I didn't want to suck that up my lungs. That's why I had a mask on. Anyway, okay, so that was 600 grit. And I don't know on this brown rouge, somebody more professional might know, but basically that bar is gritty. It has some grit. And so it'll add one more layer of abrasion and then polish. You ready for this, huh? I am. The wheel is. Ooh, get my earplugs out. So, do I have a weird chin thing on my beard? So, the protection things really are important, especially with this metal polishing. That's what you'd consider aluminum oxide, I guess. Oxidized aluminum, you scientists, is that right? But yeah, definitely want to wear something. I know sometimes that can be perceived as like, there's the two sides where some are like, I don't need no darn tooting gloves and a respirator. I'll be fine, my lungs. Wow, you know. And then some are like super hardcore the other way. This is one, I'm guilty of it sometimes, you know, not putting my safety glasses on. I've learned the hard way and got shards pried out of my eyeballs before at the eye doctor and things like that. So I'm learning slowly, but this is one where definitely you don't have to have a full face respirator. I did that back when I was doing a lot of polishing, but you definitely want something, even a shirt wrapped tight just to keep that dust right off of your your immediate face. Check this out. Check it out. Looky, looky, looky. Oh, and you can even see old JJ. Hey, guys. So here it is. Here it is. Now you'll see some of these lines, like that black line right there. That's polish, and now we got a hand polish. There's one more step left yet in the polishing here, but look at this. This is a wheel that I put on. I actually think it was 3 years ago. I had this lift axle installed on my truck a year after I bought it. I think I bought this truck in 17, I think, in the fall of 17. Anyway, I had that thing put on in the springtime, which would have been 18. So yeah, 3+ years, I guess. And I've never touched this other than washing it. And just those two little blasts, with sandpaper. I mean, they weren't little. You got to do it legitimately. But you guys, some of you have done this. I know there's some of you out there watching that have done this. And when you got to the part with the wheel, it just started turning black, right? Just started turning black. The only thing that you can do to fix that is you have to start over. You got to go back to 320 grit because you haven't gotten all the oxidation off. Okay, let me try to explain this. You know, you guys know those things that you, like doormats with like the little bristles on them, the little plastic bristles that you rub your feet on, right? Like before you step into the house or whatever. Think of that bristly plastic doormat like this aluminum when it's dirty, you know, when it just came off the truck, okay? It's real, the actual surface of that aluminum is real bristly. It's got some corrosion on it. If you looked at it microscopically, it would look like a moonscape, you know, like. So think of this aluminum like those floor bristles, right? Those on the floor mats. If you take a sander and you just lightly sand over this with a couple, 2 or 3 different grits, you know, 320s, 400, 600, and you don't get the surface totally smooth to where it feels like silk. Like it literally feels like a silk scarf rubbing on your face, right? Think of it this way. When you get this brown bar, it's just an abrasive material from the earth, basically. It's like dirt. And when that wheel, you put that on the wheel, and when that wheel contacts the surface of this aluminum, think of it like what those plastic bristles do when you rub your foot across it, right? It pulls the mud off your shoe and kind of implants it in the bristles of that doormat. You know what I'm talking about? That's what this aluminum does. This stuff comes off of your wheel. It comes off of your wheel and lodges itself in the nooks and crannies that were not properly sanded, and it looks black. That's where the black comes from when you see the black, right? These were the real deep little pits. See how they're black inside of them? That's because there's some of that rouge down in there, okay? So if you're doing this and it's turning black, it's because you have a doormat that's basically sucking the rouge off of your polishing wheel, and it's manifesting as black on the surface of your wheel. So you got to go back. You got to start at the beginning again. You get that sandpaper and you sand and you sand and you sand until it is silky, silky smooth. Okay? There's no shortcut to polishing wheels. You just gotta sand. Prepare. You got me? Have I said it enough? You want me to say it again? No. Okay, I'm gonna go get some hand polish. I'll show you guys one last thing. We're gonna put, I like to use Pro 40. It's just an old school truck polish. Zephyr Pro 40. We'll apply it to the wheel, and that Pro 40 will clean off any rouge that's left. It'll get rid of these lines, and it'll give it one last final little polish to even it out. Look at that thing. See? That's beautiful. You guys, that's beautiful. and I love it. Old school. I think all the old hardcore road warriors, a lot of them use that. There's a lot of good hand polished products out there. The guy that taught me on the internet that I watched on YouTube when I learned how to do all this, he was a Zephyr Pro 40 guy, so that's why. And all that I basically use this for is for removing the product. So we give her a little schleppik, see that? And then you just gotta hand polish it in there and coat the whole surface. Oof. Dumped it all down the lug nut hole. Oh man. You guys, some of this stuff too, it just makes you feel good. It just, I don't know, it's weird. I guess that's why a lot of people like to spend time in their garages or their workrooms, their craft closets, whatever the case may be. This kind of stuff is good for you, especially when you're not in a bind and short on time. Kind of feel like Bob Ross. I can see how painting would be cathartic. So I'm getting this all around, and it's gonna clean and polish, and it'll just help even maybe a few little ridges and valleys that I missed. It's gonna go ahead and get in there and help hide some of my shortcomings. Because like I say, you guys, I'm by no means, and some of you may have watched this and been like, oh, you could do this or that and it would work better. True that. I don't pretend to be like a professional polisher, but I'm just a guy that owns trucks, and you know, I like trying to keep things looking. I'm definitely not a wizard wash guy. Like, I don't wipe my truck down after every load, but I like to take good care of equipment that takes good care of me, and that's what we're doing here today. And it always helps keep the DOT off your back when you can blind them with shine. So now we just gotta let this has gotta dry for a few minutes, and then it'll just wipe right off. No prob. But, so next time you go to a polisher and they're like, man, it's gonna be $70 a wheel. And you're like, you kidding me? Just go easy on them, because it's a lot of work, and it's dirty, and it's gritty, and it's noisy, and it's loud, and it's a lot of bending over and standing up and squatting down, and it's a job where you put all your back-breaking effort into it. And then as a guy doing it for a living, someone picks up the truck and they roll out the door, and you're like, okay, well, see you in a year when your truck is just destroyed. So go easy on them polish guys when they're charging you for what they do, because it's a lot of work. And if you don't like what they're charging, then, well, or if they're not available, like in my case, the nearest polisher that I know is 150 miles away from me. So anyway, okay, let's let this dry for a minute. We'll wipe it off and let you guys get back to your day. Hey, I know what, while we're waiting for that polish to dry so we can strip it off of there, I want to give you an update. You guys like updates? You want a little update? Update on what, you might ask? An update on this. Huh? The old T660. One of my favorite trucks made. They're like this perfect combination of aerodynamics and efficiency and beauty and toughness and tenderness. All mixed together, you know what I'm saying? Sounds a lot like me, wouldn't you say? Oh, goodness. Okay, so let me give you a quick update on this truck. You guys know I picked it up a couple years ago out in Kentucky. The reason I bought it, it's a glider, so it's a newer model truck. It's a 2013, which feels like a newer model truck to me, considering some of the old iron that I have up on the hillside. But it's got a Series 60 Detroit in it. I went ahead and we put a locking rear end in it. I put got rid of the 10-speed, put a 13-speed in it. Just wanted to make it a little more fuel efficient and a little bit more pulling friendly. That's a bad way to, that just doesn't, pulling friendly. A little more, I don't know, load happy. I don't know. The 10 speed with the 336 rear ends was a terrible combination. Truck could do like 90 miles an hour, no problem. But you get in the hills and it was just like. So anyway, got rid of that. If you remember, if you follow me on Instagram, you might remember last fall, late in the fall, early in the winter, this truck, I was hauling cattle with it. And I checked my oil one time there in the morning when I got up, and I'd noticed my blow-by vapors seemed like they were getting a little more prevalent and different looking. Anyway, long story short, there's diesel in the oil, and which is probably coming from an injector line. I haven't diagnosed it. We put new injectors in it as well I don't remember when, but last year. And one of those lines must have just not seated right. And anyway, come loose or whatever. So it's dripping diesel in. But I've been kind of split on this truck because I've wanted to, I really don't like not knowing the age of my components on a rig, okay? This truck right now is new from the transmission back, right? I don't have any history on the engine. The ECM says it has 800,000, I don't know. But you just don't really know. And I've always wanted to overhaul an engine. Believe it or not, all these years that I've trucked, I've actually never had to overhaul an engine. But I've always wanted to. I don't have the mechanical knowledge to be able to, but I love mechanicking. Diesel mechanics is something that in another life I definitely would have chosen as a profession. Just not the way the cards went, and I ended up this route instead. But this engine, I've decided to just overhaul it. Because I just want to know that this truck, I want to know the age of it. I want to know this engine's fresh, the transmission's, it's all fresh, okay? Because I like fresh fruit. I've got a good friend of mine coming from the East Coast. He's going to fly out, kind of looking for an extended vacation, going to stay for a couple weeks. And James and I are going to overhaul this Series 60. I called Detroit today and we got an overhaul kit in queue, up and coming. Hopefully be here in 3 weeks or a month, hopefully. I'm going to go back out on the road here for a couple weeks shortly. And then once I'm back from that, kind of around for the summer because hopefully, it's too early to tell, but hopefully we'll have a haying season. You know, we'll have to cut hay and take care of that kind of stuff on the ranch here. And that'll be when we're overhauling engines, we're haying, we're playing music, and kind of doing the summertime deal. So I wanted to fill you in, and filled in you are. I love this truck. I've always loved 660s, 600s. And we're going to do it up. We're going to do some fun stuff to that truck to make her run nice and look nice. And old Charlie Brown, well, we'll see. I think I have another good friend of mine that's probably going to come and join forces and switch gears and start driving this rig for me. So we'll be running around together. Anyway, that's the update. Let's come back in here now and see if this wheel's ready to wipe down, huh? Get my clean cloth. We're just gonna wipe this. Oh man, look at that. Oh, goodness gracious. That baby's what's up. Y'all. Zootalo. This baby is a shining machine. Oh, it even smells good. You're like, you are a weirdo. The only, looking at it, it looks really nice. There's a few little scratches here where I really was digging deep to get that Alcoa sticker off of there. Whew. Guys, this wheel, by all my standards and desires, is most definitely ready to get shark-hided. Okay, one last step I almost forgot. You guys, when shark hide goes on, it's got to be a totally clean surface. It can't have any polish residue. So I've got some really good, as seen on TV, something or another. And I'm gonna go ahead and just, normally you want your polish to provide a layer of protection, but we're gonna put a different layer of protection on. So this cleaner will remove, oh, I can feel it. It's already getting, instead of being smooth, it's getting kind of sticky. Not sticky, but not as nice to move around as it was. Let's use this here. There we go. This way, that shark hide, again with anything, what did we say at the beginning of this video? Preparation is always the key. So if I don't properly prep this and we put shark hide on it, what's gonna happen? Right. I might need to go get one more clean rag and give her one more good blast with a fresh clean rag, and then we'll hide it. Okay, last things last. Shark hide. Put this on a, ooh, there we go. Put this on an old t-shirt, something I can throw away. And once you've put it on, you don't lift it up until you've completed your circle, because it's actually putting down like a legitimate coat. A coat of this product. I'm gonna do the edge of that wheel. Okay. And then I'll do the very outside. Okay, so there's the first coat done. First coat is done. You don't want to put it on too thick and leave lines, but too thin, it won't do its job. Here's the thing about this, you guys. When you put shark hide on, you're giving up a little bit of that nice shine, but you're gaining a longer, much longer lasting shine. So the degree of shine is going to be down a notch, but the duration of the said shine left over will last for, I've heard people tell me as much as 3 or 4 years, which would be crazy. And on this particular wheel, remember, it's getting a little blast of smoke on the side of it. So my idea is protect it with the shark hide. It'll stick to the shark hide and hopefully wash off, rather than before it was like digging itself into those pores of the aluminum. So this will seal all the aluminum shut, and in hopes that when you wash the truck regularly, any of the soot left will just rinse right off. All right, you guys, this is it. That was 4. I put 4 coats of shark hide on there. That's how it looks from afar. You can tell it's lost a little bit of its, its nice shine, but it's still a really clean. I mean, you can still see reflections. You can kind of see a little bit of some of that's the mill lines. It's just a little bit of, it's just one notch down on the shine scale, but it's there. Yeah, there you are. So you can still see me. Like I say, I've had my other ones on my steers up there. You can see that shine over there. They've been on since I think November is when we did those and shark hided them. So there you have it. Take it or leave it. Hopefully you learned something.